So you're gonna see a PowerPoint. First you see a video actually, and then you'll see a PowerPoint, and then we'll go quite fast. So me, Calvin, and JJ and Paul will probably chip in. Hopefully, over about 45 minutes. I am recording this. So what we'll do is once this is finished, I'll put the video together, and then I'll put it on your Facebook pages. All right. JJ and Calvin and Paul will tell you when your test is this week if they haven't done so already. All right. If there's any level 2 Maidstone, level 2 Medway students, your test will be on Thursday and Friday.
So, going to do a quick food safety revision test. For this, you will need a pen and paper with you, and if you can number your paper 1 to 12. There are multiple choice questions. Get ready for the first question.
So 12 multiple choice questions.
Question 1. Vulnerable groups who could be badly affected by food poisoning include A. Teenagers, elderly people and young children. B. Babies, young children and teenagers. C. Pregnant women, young children and elderly people. Or D. E. Babies, teenagers and pregnant women. Question 2. Bacteria multiply by A. Cross-contamination, B. Sporulation, C. Fertilization, or D. Binary fission. Question 3. Poisonous chemicals produced by some molds are called A. Endotoxins, B. Exotoxins, C. Mycotoxins, D. Mucotoxins. Question 4. Objects falling into food is called what sort of contamination? A. Chemical, B. Physical, C. Natural, or D. Cross-contamination. Question 5. Bacteria need food, time, moisture, and what else to grow? A. Light, B. Darkness, C. Warmth, D. Low temperature. Question 6. The bacteria most commonly found in rice products is A. Staphylococcus aureus, B. Listeria, C. E. coli, or D. Bacillus cereus. Question 7. Under ideal conditions, bacteria can double every A. 10 to 20 seconds, B. 30 to 40 seconds, C. 10 to 20 minutes, and D. 30 to 40 minutes. Question 8. What is a spore? A type of bacteria, B. A toxin produced after eating contaminated food, C. An endotoxin, or D. A hard case that protects some bacteria from high temperature. Question 9. Which bacteria make food go mouldy? A. Beneficial, B. Pathogenic, C. Spoilage, or D. Natural. Question 10. Bacteria requiring oxygen in order to multiply are called A. Mycotoxic, B. Toxic, C. Aerobic, or D. Anaerobic. Question 11. The phase where bacteria multiply rapidly is called A. The stationary phase, B. The lag phase, C. The log phase, or D. The fast phase. Question 12. Staphylococcus aureus food poisoning usually occurs as a result of A. Inadequate personal hygiene of food handlers, B. Incorrect cooking and cooling of meat and poultry, C. Inadequate washing of vegetables prior to cooking, or D. Incorrect canning process for salmon and beef.
They were just getting quite noisy. So there was 12 multiple choice questions. At the end of this, we will go through the answers. All right. So hopefully you've got your 12 multiple choice, and then we'll go through the answers at the end. So we're going to go quite fast now. If this moves on. Hopefully we're going to cover this now. JJ, Calvin, and Paul will chip in through this as well, and hopefully we will get this done within about. Like I said, I am recording this, so if it does go a bit too fast for you, or you're not sure of anything, you can either go back to the video later. And even after watching the video, if you get really stuck, then give JJ, Calvin, and Paul a shout. All right?
Absolutely.
What we're going to look at this morning. So, who wants to answer that question? What is food safety? Who wants to come up with a definition? Okay, then, because there was a silence. What is food safety? If you didn't know this, then obviously jot this down. The handling, preparation, and storage of food in ways that prevent foodborne illness. You'll definitely need to know this, okay? Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Why follow good food safety and hygiene procedures?
Because otherwise, the police will come and get you. It is the law.
To comply with the law to prevent harm to customers and staff. I definitely know that this one is in the test paper, or something along this one is in the test paper. What are high-risk foods? Good. I don't know about JJ. The high-risk foods, I always think about the supermarket and visualize yourself in the supermarket. Anything that's in a fridge in the supermarket is generally high-risk food, and anything that's not in the supermarket is generally low-risk food. I don't know if you think the same with that, Gavin.
I would say the same, yeah. So anything that we have to keep cold in the fridge, I would say high risk.
So, name some high-risk foods then. Think about what is high risk. If you can't think of any, visualize yourself in a supermarket.
Raw food.
Sorry, what did you say, Emily?
Raw food.
Raw foods.
Yeah.
Yeah, so raw food, so raw fish, raw meat,
Raw chicken.
raw chicken.
Is that Hodder?
Yeah.
Hello, Hodder. Are you on Gary?
Hello. Yeah.
Trying to figure out who you were.
So, why would gravy be a high-risk food? Why is gravy a high-risk food? Maybe not the gravy you have at home, but gravy in the restaurant. Think about the gravy that we would have in the kitchens at work. Why would gravy be a high-risk food?
Is it because it's made with something in particular?
If you was at college and we were making fresh gravy, what would you probably... There'd be something boiled on the stove for about 3 or 4 hours.
Meat
Sorry?
juice.
Stock.
Yes, Alex.
Stock.
Well done. Meat juices or stock. Fantastic.
I can interject here for a second.
Yeah.
An example I like to use within my classes is if you think back to Christmas and you've made your turkey, you've made the gravy, you've made the veg, everyone sits around the table, you pig out, you put loose fitting trousers on, you eat a little bit more. What happens to all that you finish when you grab your dessert? It tends to stand out the fridge for quite a long time as well. And that gravy tends to harbor a lot more bacteria in that room temperature as well. So more often than not, if you think of a home scenario, it becomes a high-risk food. Purely because of the time it spends outside the fridge and how quickly it cools down.
Definitely. Definitely.
So think about Christmas already.
This is what happens when you borrow a Calvin PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Can only apologise.
I'm worried.
It gets worse.
Right. So you can see the high-risk foods on there, and again, like we were saying, if you think yourself in a supermarket, a lot of these will be in the fridge. Gravy, I know at home you've probably got gravy granules. I've got gravy granules at home, but like we were saying, at college we would make them with stock. Okay, if that's high risk, then what would low risk be? Adam already said gravy granules, so you can't have gravy granules. What else would be low risk? Think along the same lines as what Adam said. What would low risk be? In other words, put yourself in the supermarket, what is not in the fridge? What would be on the shelves and not in the fridge?
Anything canned.
Anything canned? Is that Eleanor?
Yeah.
Good. Anything canned. What's significantly about anything that's canned then?
It has a longer storage life.
It does. Do you know why?
Because it's normally like pickled and all that.
Okay, pickled is. Well, we'll go back to pickled in a second. But on the canned food, how high is the canned food heated for?
Oh.
All canned foods are cooked, aren't they? Do you know how high they're cooked for?
Oh. No. Okay.
There was a good program on BBC. There was a good program on BBC One actually with Greg Wallace last week with baked beans inside the factory. And
Yeah,
Watched it last night.
was it on last night?
I don't know.
Well, no, I watched it on catch up last night.
It was a Heinz baked beans factory, and he couldn't believe that everything that was put into the can was raw, and then it was cooked to 121 degrees for a certain amount of time. It was all cooked inside the can. And technically, everything inside the can is now sterile, so there's no bacteria present. So that is why canned goods can last a long time, as long as the tin doesn't get damaged. Eleanor, you said pickled food. Pickled food is also low risk. Why is pickled food low risk though? Pickled food isn't canned, but why is it low risk?
Isn't it because it's like it gets rid of all like the bacteria, so when it's been pickled, it's more the fact that all the bacteria is like it's not fully killed, it's just been reduced in a way.
I mean, the liquid, the pickling liquid, is high in acid. And bacteria don't like that. Bacteria can't support that environment. So therefore, anything inside a pickled environment, bacteria can't multiply. So therefore, they can't do anything. They say a jar of pickled eggs would last you centuries because nothing can multiply as long as the food is submerged.
No, you have your sweets.
Anything else, Calvin and JJ? Should we move on?
No, I think that's covered
That's
everything.
fine.
Keep your sweets.
What is the core temperature? I don't know, Taylor. I'm going to ask Taylor. What is the core temperature? So if I ask you to cook something to the core temperature, what temperature would you think you'd be cooking it to?
75.
Well done, Taylor. That's good. Yeah, 75.
Fantastic. Well done. So in the middle of the product, you should be looking for 75 degrees. And also remember, when you are taking the temperature, take it 2 or 3 times so that you're not just getting a first one. The question's already come up. It must be maintained above 63 degrees when hot holding. Okay, Chelsea. I've got some chili con carne left in my fridge from yesterday. In fact, this is true. I've got some chili con carne left in my fridge from yesterday. I want to reheat it for lunchtime. What temperature should we reheat it to? If the core temperature is 75 degrees, what temperature do you think I should reheat to? Anyone?
63.
No, higher than that. It's also 75 degrees. 75 degrees for 2 minutes. Okay, so if I'm reheating my chili this afternoon for lunch, it's got to go to 75 degrees for 2 minutes. If you didn't know that and you were lost on that, you need to write that down. All right. What's significant about 5 to 63 degrees? Anyone now?
Danger zone.
All the time.
Yes, well done, Alex. Danger zone.
Danger zone.
Usually Gillingham High Street at 10 o'clock at night is a danger zone. But
Any time of the day.
danger zone. Fantastic. .63 degrees is also the top end of the danger zone, and this is what we call the hot holding temperature. So you see that picture on the screen, you've got hot plates and stuff like this. So you're thinking about your refectory. Any food that is served must be, any hot food, sorry, must be above 63 degrees, right? That is the top of the end of the danger zone. What would happen, I'm going to ask, so what would happen if the food went below 63 degrees?
Sure, I heard so. Yeah, someone said throw it away. Yeah.
Cool.
That's good. That's the correct answer. Well done. Yeah, we don't want to keep that food if it's below 63 degrees.
It should be held above 63 also for 2 hours.
If you imagine the canteen or the refectory, that food that they have there, they're not allowed to keep that hot under those lights for longer than 2 hours. They must throw it away before that time.
We've said 75 degrees is the core temperature. We've also said that 75 degrees is the reheating temperature. Remember, it must be reheated for 2 minutes. Most bacteria at 75 degrees would have died. They say that around about 58, 59 degrees, bacteria start to die, but certainly at 75 degrees, most bacteria should have died. However, what do some bacteria are capable of doing? What are some capable?
Multiplying.
Not at 75 degrees, they can't. 75 degrees is too hot. Most bacteria will die, but those that can't die, what would they form? They would form something at 75 degrees. It was already in that question, in that video question you had earlier. It was something you had.
Spores.
Spore.
Yeah.
Was that Taylor that said that? Fantastic, yeah. So most bacteria will die, but some bacteria, the harmful bacteria, are capable of forming a spore. And once they form the spore, they can't do anything. They're still there. It's like a protective casing, suit of armor, if you like. They can't do anything. But once that food goes back into the danger zone, the spore gets released, and then the bacteria, like Alex said, can then multiply. So, cook some food. It's just coming up to an hour and 50 minutes, and now I've decided I've got 5 whole chickens left, for example. Too valuable to throw away. It's the first time I've cooked them. They've been hot held for about 90 minutes now, and I want to use them for tomorrow. What temperature do I need to get them to now? What do I need to do to these chickens? I want to use the chickens tomorrow. Chickens are currently around about 70 degrees. Can I put them straight in the fridge?
No.
No.
Why not?
Come away.
I can't chuck them away. It's the first time I've used them. So I don't.
5 degrees.
I need to do what?
Get them down to 5 degrees.
Fantastic. I need to get them down to 5 degrees. Why? Why is that? You're dead right, but why? What's 5 degrees significant?
What do we need to keep them out of?
Danger
Danger zone. Fantastic.
Yes, well done.
So how am I going to get them down to 5 degrees then? Do I just leave them on the side until they naturally go to 5 degrees? How do I get them to 5 degrees?
Put them in the fridge.
In the fridge.
Okay,
No.
what about if I put them in the fridge directly? What could happen to the fridge?
Contaminated.
Could overheat. And
It could overheat. Good. So what would we use? How could I get them? How could I get them to 5 degrees quicker?
put it in smaller portions.
Good. Smaller portions or a piece of equipment that you may have in kitchens. We have one of these in Medway, although it's not working at the moment.
Put it in the freezer.
Not the freezer. What do we have in Medway by the second door? The door you go out to the store cupboard.
Chiller.
A chiller, a blast chiller. So if you happen to have a blast chiller, you could put them into the blast chiller. If not, like Eleanor said, you got to cut them down into smaller portions. How long do I have to do that by?
90 minutes.
90 minutes. Fantastic.
To what temperature? You have 90 minutes to chill the product, but to what temperature or below?
The danger zone.
5 degrees, I don't know.
Yes,
degrees,
well
well
done,
done.
yes.
If you can remember that danger zone between 5 and 53 degrees, if you can remember that, you're halfway there.
Definitely. Definitely. Remember, this is only food that's been cooked once, though. Reheated food, once it's been cooked twice. What do we do? What do we have to do with that reheated food once it's been cooked twice?
Throw it away.
Throw it away. Yeah, you can't reheat it. It has to be thrown away. Good.
Yeah, chuck it away. Well done. Someone said chuck it away. Good.
Yeah, we did.
Don't give it to your nasty neighbour.
Don't give it to your staff.
What happens to what happens to bacteria in the fridge or the freezer? We've said that bacteria can multiply and exactly when it's hot, but what happens when it's cold?
Lays dormant.
It lays dormant, definitely. There are some that can multiply in the fridge, but very, very slowly. But definitely the colder it gets, the more dormant it gets. You're dead right, Shelby. Certainly if it goes into the freezer. So you could freeze something for 50 years if you wanted to. It would still have bacteria in it, but they would just be... All right? What you must remember is that bacteria don't multiply in the freezer, and they don't die in the freezer either. Goes down, goes dormant, and chills out. There are some bacteria that can multiply in the fridge between 1 to 5 degrees, but very, very slowly. All right? I love your sounds, Calvin.
I
It's making me feel cold.
don't even know where I found these things.
Remember, 1 to 5 is a fridge temperature. Now, quite often we'll ask the question, what is a fridge temperature? And some people will say 0 to 5. Why can't 0 be the right answer?
What happens at 0 degrees?
Nothing.
No, not nothing. Something happens at 0 degrees and below.
Freezer temperature.
Yeah, things start to freeze.
Definitely. Who's put something in the fridge and it goes a bit too cold? Lettuce is always a good one. And the lettuce starts to freeze. And then once your lettuce starts to freeze, it goes brown and mushy, doesn't it? It doesn't like being...
Yep, it happens all the time.
So quite often you'll see students will put this down as an answer and they'll put 0 to 5. And it can't be 0 because that's freezing. So it has to be 1 to 5. We said minus 18. Did we say minus 18 or was I just making that up?
I don't think we've mentioned minus 18.
Hey, what's minus 18 then? What's significant about minus 18?
Freezer temperature.
It is the freezer temperature. Remember that any bacteria in the freezer, they just lie dormant. Is that you, Calvin?
Yeah, I'm just drinking some coffee to try and wake myself up.
How must be stored frozen food? Remember, all food must be wrapped and labelled, not just the frozen food, but all food must be wrapped and labelled. And it should be rotated. What's the acronym we use for rotation? Anyone remember?
Not rotated.
First in, first out.
Best in, first out, yeah.
Excellent, Shelby. Well done. Yeah, first in, first out, or FIFO as we call it.
Yeah, first in, first out.
Or LILO is the other one. LILO would be last in, last out. So same sort of thing.
Who hasn't asked a question yet? We got someone who hasn't asked a question.
Who hasn't answered the question?
Shanique.
Yes.
I've got a frozen turkey in my freezer. Okay, Shanique, and I want to defrost this frozen turkey. What's the best way of defrosting this frozen turkey?
Yeah, Shan's not on yet. She's not supposed to be in.
Oh, she's in a participant.
Yeah, she was on 2 phones. She's forgot to take the other one off.
Okay, let's choose somebody else then. Adam Bodkin.
Yeah.
I've got a frozen turkey in the freezer. I want to cook the frozen turkey. So, how's it best to defrost it?
How to defrost it?
Yeah.
In the freezer or the fridge?
I've got it it's in the freezer now, and I want to cook it. So, can I put it straight in the oven?
No, you need to defrost it first, don't you?
Okay, good. How would I defrost it? How's best to defrost it then?
Just put it in the fridge. I'm not sure.
Yes, put it in the fridge. Whereabouts in the fridge?
At the bottom.
And what should be underneath it?
Nothing should be underneath it, should it?
Yeah, I've probably confused you there. It should be on the bottom shelf, but underneath it there should be a drip tray. When it defrosts, obviously, remember the ice is going to turn into water, and otherwise, if you don't put a drip tray underneath it, you're going to flood your fridge, aren't you?
Yeah.
How long would you think a turkey would defrost in the fridge?
About 2 hours.
No, a lot longer than that.
4.
Overnight.
A lot longer, about 24 to 36 hours.
That's too long.
Overnight.
So give it a good day. A day to a day and a half in the fridge. Why can't I put it directly into the oven? What would be the issue if I put it directly into the oven? The oven's a hot place. It would defrost in the oven.
It would taste horrible, wouldn't it?
It probably wouldn't taste very nice. It would probably dry out. You're right. But what is the dangerous thing about putting it directly into the oven? This is open to anyone now.
The oven will blow up.
The oven wouldn't blow up. If I put
It
a
wouldn't
frozen,
cook properly.
it wouldn't cook properly. You're dead right. The outside would defrost quickly and it would start to cook, but the inside would still be a frozen block of ice, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So it wouldn't cook properly. And by the time that it started to thaw out, it would be in the danger zone. It would be multiplying. It would be all kinds of issues, wouldn't it? And like Adam says, it wouldn't taste very nice eventually. As you can see on that slide, frozen food must be defrosted on the tray in the fridge at the bottom shelf. And once they've been defrosted, they should be treated as fresh food. Food labelling. Types of food labelling. Eleanor?
Types of food labelling. Need the use by date, the name of it.
Used by Nate, yeah. And one more.
The name of the product you have made.
Yeah, there's a use by date, one other date.
And best before date.
Best before, fantastic. Remember, the use by date is the legal requirement. All right, that is the one that you get into trouble by. If you use something that's gone past its use by date, you're in trouble. Best before is obviously a recommendation.
If you go back to your high risk and your low risk foods from earlier, think about those. These labels apply to those. So use by applies to high risk foods. Best before applies to low risk foods. So things that you keep in the fridge, you'll have a use by date on it. Things that you keep in your dry store will tend to have a best before date on it. Okay?
What's the temperature of the danger zone? Everybody, and after 3, everybody shout out danger zone at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
5 to
63.
63.
Cool. I didn't hear JJ. JJ, I think JJ got that one wrong.
I didn't say anything. 63.
Very good. So we're going to talk about storage now. So obviously, remember when you get a food delivery, anything that's chilled must be below 8 degrees, and anything that's frozen must be minus 12. They're obviously legal requirements. Leslie and Sophie in your campuses, they will be recording all this, wouldn't they? So as soon as they get a delivery, they would want to know what the temperatures are. Also, you need to make sure that the packaging is unbroken, it's clean, correct labels on it. If it's not correct labels, then how do you know what it is? If you're unsure of it, reject it. You don't have to keep it, right? You've got 15 minutes to start putting this food away. Okay? Remember, the frozen food should go away first, then the fresh food, and then the dry food. But you've got 15 minutes to get that put away. Why should meat and fish be stored in separate fridges if you can? Certainly separately. Why wouldn't you put meat and fish together?
What are we trying to minimise?
Cost contamination.
Yes, well done, Adam.
Cross-contamination, the transfer of bacteria from one thing to another, all right? So if you put 2 things together, the bacteria can spread. Okay, Emily, if you found mouldy food, what would you do?
Chuck it away.
Okay, good. What would you before you chucked it away, who would you tell?
Tell the supervisor.
Tell the
Yes,
supervisor,
always.
fantastic.
Tell your supervisor.
It's probably best to tell your supervisor first, all right? So you
And then vote.
because otherwise, if you chuck it away, they might not know, and it becomes your word against theirs, isn't it? So make sure you tell your supervisor first.
You might turn it into a special.
Heard that before then, Paul?
Yes, yeah. It's one of JJ's restaurants, say it in.
Obviously, you need to remember, because it's mouldy, you need to think about cross-contamination as well. So therefore, you definitely would need to wash your hands. You would need to check the storage area, make sure that anything that mouldy food is coming into contact with has been cleaned.
Well, that's an impressive loaf of bread, isn't it?
I see nothing wrong with
This
that.
morning, Paul. You
Penicillin
said you wanted the
bread.
bacon. You said you wanted a bacon sandwich. What is HACCP? Let's see if we can get this acronym. What does anyone know what the H in HACCP stands for?
Analysis critical control point.
Yes,
Wow.
Alex.
Johnson. Hazard analysis critical control point.
Watch your cat. She'll fall and put a paw in it. Look.
Fantastic. So HACCP is a management procedure, all right? It's a legal requirement, and they have to put certain procedures in place, and it's generally related to food storage and food temperatures and stuff like that. And there are critical control points in the way. I always remember a critical control point like a speed limit, as if I'm driving my car. All right. So when I drive my car off my driveway, the speed limit is 30 miles an hour. In my opinion, that is a control point. All right. I can't go above 30 miles an hour. So think about it when you're in the food, when you're storing food. We've just talked about that frozen food must go into the freezer at -18. So the control point. The freezer must be working at -18. Due diligence. Calvin, this is a question in the test paper, isn't it? Due diligence?
Due diligence is always a question in the test paper.
Okay, you would need to make sure that you know this, if you don't know this already. What is due diligence? You can see it's already on the screen. It means that you have taken all reasonable precautions. It is a legal term, and it may be something you may have to prove to an EHO, or more importantly, a magistrate. All right, so if your food business got taken to court, you would have to show due diligence. And due diligence means that you've taken all reasonable precaution. All right? So what is due diligence? This is definitely a question. I saw this earlier. What is a risk assessment? All right? Assessments are something that a food business must look at. Does anyone know, if we're talking health and safety now, what is one of the key things in health and safety? The first thing we need to identify begins with H.
Hazard.
Hazard. Fantastic. Does anyone know what the definition of a hazard is? Anyone remember what the definition of a hazard is?
Harming something.
Potential to harm something. Good, Alex.
Yes, good, Alex.
Alex, have you had cornflakes today, Alex?
No, I haven't had nothing yet.
Weetabix.
Weetabix.
See,
Yeah.
innit, Alex?
He's had Weetabix or something, isn't he? Good. A hazard is something with the potential to harm, all right? And that is what a risk assessment is doing. It's looking for the hazards, and it's trying to lower the risk, all right? Putting control measures that will lower that risk. There you go. There's some steps there on the screen. Why should we carry out risk assessments? Because to avoid the production of unsafe food. Point 4 on the screen. Point 4 says regular inspections by a health and safety officer. What other officer are we likely to get in the food kitchens?
1 times 20 is 1.
What's the other officer that we're likely to get?
Food safety officer.
Okay, what's the correct term of a food safety officer? Food safety officers employed by the council, what would they be called? JJ,
Person that can come in and shut your business down.
Maidstone had one last year. They can come around at any reasonable time.
Environmental health, I don't know.
Yes, Adam.
Fantastic, Adam.
Well done.
EHO or the EHP? Environmental Health Officer or the Environmental Health Practitioner?
We haven't had one at Medway for a while, but JJ's had a couple recently, haven't you? But both with high awards.
It's cool like that.
Absolutely. So, where did I go? So if the EHO came into the kitchen, he or she are going to definitely want to see some of these records. They can ask to see more than this, but they're definitely going to want to see delivery documents and temperatures and fridge freezer temperatures, cleaning rotors, equipment maintenance rotors. They may want to see staff training records. They may want to see pest records, loads of other things that they can ask to see. And this is all part of due diligence. We had an EHO come round David Brown a couple of years ago, Calvin, and he said,
yeah, that's it. Yeah.
he said if you didn't have any of these, you automatically go straight to a 1 grading. You remember the ranking grades that you can get between 5 and 0? You can't.
Yeah, the 5-star rating.
You couldn't get higher than a 1 if you don't have any of these records. So that's very, very low. Wowza, who's been driving that DHL van?
I think it was JJ.
Definitely me.
So stock delivered should match the order placed. Make sure the temperature is correct. The vehicle that it comes in must be suitable and clean. The dry store needs to be clean, cool and well ventilated. Everything should be kept off the floor, remember? Everything should be stored in airtight containers. Chemicals, can anyone, what's the acronym for chemicals when we're talking about chemicals in the kitchen? A legal document, when we talk about chemicals, what do we say? It's 5 letters, one begins with C.
Tosh.
Gosh, fantastic.
Well done.
Well done.
Fantastic. Well done. What does it stand for?
I'll give you the first one, control.
Yeah.
Control.
Control substances hazardous to health.
Well done,
Yeah.
Shelby. Very, very good.
Fantastic. If you see on the screen, you see them symbols. You've got 7 symbols on one, 7 orange and black symbols on one yellow and black symbol. Anything that's orange and black is a Kosh item. I've never been in houses, but if you have a look underneath your kitchen sink or in your bathroom cabinet, I bet you've got Kosh items. Rubbish bins. We've all got rubbish bins in our kitchens. Obviously, you need rubbish bins. The rubbish bins should be lined with a liner, and they should have a well-fitting lid. As soon as the bin gets to 3/4 full, someone should be thinking about emptying the bin outside. All right. What about overnight? Am I all right to leave my rubbish bin in the kitchen overnight?
No.
No. No.
Of course not. It must be emptied.
Why would you not want to leave your rubbish bin in the kitchen overnight? What might happen?
Flies.
Yes, good. So we don't want no flies to come into it. So any pests might be encouraged to come into your kitchen if you've left your bins. Yes, it's going to cause a smell. It's going to make a smell in the kitchen. And that smell, if you've got a smell, there's going to be bacteria floating around in the air, and then that's dangerous because it could potentially go on your food. So you must always empty your bins at the end of the night and make sure there's no food left in the kitchen.
Especially cockroaches.
Yes. Well, that takes us on to the next slide. I think there's about 6 or 7 slides left to go, and then we've got the test video to go through. So JJ just said cockroaches. He's dead right. Any other food pests we can think of? Shout them out.
Wasps.
Wasps, yeah.
Flies.
Flies.
Rats.
Yeah, that's good.
Bees.
So you've got some on the screen now. You've got things like flies, moths, ants, cockroaches, rats, mice, cats and dogs. People try and bring their cats and dogs into the kitchen. None of these are allowed in the kitchen, all right? How would we know that they've been there? If we can't physically see them, how else would we know that we've had food pests in our kitchen?
Drop-in.
Drop-ins, yep, good. What else?
Good, Alex.
How else would we know? Drop-ins, definitely. What else may they do? They're after food, aren't they? That's why they're there. So what are they going to do if they see food? What are they going to leave? They're going to leave damage. They're going to eat. You might see unexplained spoilage on the floor. where they've been eaten through a package or something. You may actually physically sight them. Probably definitely smell them. You may see some fur and hairs, and you may see some dead, not dead bodies as in human bodies, but dead flies and stuff like that.
Well, if you leave the dead bodies in your kitchen, you may end up with dead flies.
Rats and mice have got an oily substance in their skin, so when they run to the side of the skirting boards, they will leave black marks, black greasy marks. So you might start to see your skirting boards getting dirty.
What people don't know about rats is they're partially blind, so they rely on the walls to get around the kitchen, which is why you see the smears. Whereas mice are not the case. That's why they will come around in the middle of the room. But rats will always run against skirting boards. That's a good indication. Call him Mr. Pest Control.
Absolutely.
All right, Mr. Pest Control.
Yeah, mate.
Oh my goodness! Right.
The three amigos. What is food poisoning? It's a medical condition resulting from food contaminated with harmful bacteria or toxic poisons. I think there's about 4 slides to go. There are 3 main causes of contamination. Chemicals just come up. What would the other 2 be?
Physical.
3 main causes of contamination. Chemicals just come up. So what's the other 2?
Physical.
Physical, good.
What's the last one?
Bacteria.
Yes. Or sometimes it's called microbial. Or microbiological even, sometimes it comes up in the questions.
How long does it take food poisoning to take effect?
24 to 48 hours.
Fantastic, Shelby. Usually a good 24 hours to 2 days, isn't it? It can take quicker than that if you've got food that's got really rancid or high in bacteria. It can take quicker. Okay, what are the symptoms of food poisoning? Diarrhea is up on the screen. What else?
Vomiting.
Vomiting. What else?
Nausea. Abdominal pains.
Abdominal pain.
Yeah.
How many of these symptoms do you normally have to have? All of them?
3 of them.
Yeah, 2 or 3. What else can make you sick? Don't say Tony's cooking.
If you're allergic. Certain food.
Allergic. Yeah, good. Things, allergens.
Yeah.
How many allergens are there?
14.
14.
Well
Well,
done.
it's more than 14, but there's 14 recognised ones that we have to put on our food products and our labels.
But there is like more because people are allergic to different.
Absolutely, yes. So people are allergic to things that aren't necessarily one of the recognised 14 allergens. For example, JJ is allergic to duck. So not all of them are listed, but there are 14 by law that we have to put on our food packaging. Can you name the 14?
Nuts, peanuts, gluten.
Yeah, good. There's 3.
Gluten.
Yeah,
Frustration.
fantastic. Yeah, that's 5.
Sulfur dioxide.
Yeah, that's a good one. 6.
Gluten.
Come on.
You've had gluten.
Oh.
Come on, you should all know your 14 allergens. Don't tell me you don't know. What's the other type of shellfish? You've had crustaceans. What's the other one?
Yes.
Mollusk.
Mollusks. Good, yeah. There's one more that comes from the sea.
Milk.
Yeah, good. That doesn't come from the sea.
Milk comes from a cow.
Shellfish.
Oh, no, not shellfish, just fish. Okay. The fish, that's 9. Sorry, what's the last one? What we missed? Eggs.
Eggs.
Yeah. Mustard. We've had lupin. Celery. Sesame. And soya are the other ones you missed. Just remember, try and remember your 14 legends. They're very important.
Okay, if I think it's a couple more slides. If I have had food poisoning, how long before I can return back to work?
48 hours.
48 hours.
Well done. Fantastic.
2 days.
Yeah.
Well, I should have gone to the doctor as well.
Pardon me.
I love this picture. I think
I poop too much.
so. You got 4. Remember, everybody is at risk of getting food poisoning. All right, everybody is at risk. But if you're in them groups, you can get food poisoning quicker. All right. So if you're elderly, pregnant, already ill, babies, young. All right. Okay, I'm going to play the video. It's about 3 minutes long now, and these have got the answers. So if you get your test papers from earlier, all got your test papers?
Yes.
Yeah.
So in this video clip, I'm going to go through the 12 answers to the test you did earlier. Question 1 is, of course, C. Vulnerable groups who can be badly affected by food poisoning include pregnant women, young children, and elderly people. You could have also had people who are already ill by other illnesses. Question 2 was, of course, D. Bacteria multiply by binary fission. Binary fission is where a bacteria cell will divide into 2, providing, of course, that the conditions are correct. Question 3, the answer was C, mycotoxins. Poisonous chemicals produced by some molds are called mycotoxins. Question 4 was B, objects falling into food is called what sort of contamination? Physical. Question 5 is C. Bacteria need food, time, moisture, and warmth to grow. And as you heard in the previous answer, if all them conditions are in place, that process will be called binary fission. Question 6 is D. The bacteria most commonly found in rice products is Bacillus cereus. Question 7 is C. Under ideal conditions, bacteria can double every 10 to 20 minutes. Remember, the conditions need to be food, warmth, moisture, and time. The process is called binary fission, and it can take 10 to 20 minutes. Question 8. The answer was D. What is a spore? It is a hard case that protects some bacteria from high temperatures. Once the food goes back into the danger zone, that spore will disappear and release toxins back into the food. Question 9 was C, spoilage. What bacteria make food go moldy? Spoilage. Question 10 was C. Bacteria requiring oxygen in order to multiply are called aerobic. Anaerobic bacteria would be the opposite. They wouldn't require oxygen to multiply. Question 11. The phase where bacteria multiply rapidly is called C, the log phase. 12. The answer was A. Staphylococcus aureus food poisoning usually occurs as a result of inadequate personal hygiene or food handlers.
So cool. Anyone get 5 out of 12? Anyone get higher than 5 out of 12?
Yes.
Anyone get
Well done, Emily.
You got 4, Alex.
Yeah.
Anyone get 8 out of 12?
I did.
Well done, Shelby.
9 out of 12? 10 out of 12? 11 out of 12? 12 out of 12?
I got 12.
Well done. Take yesterday off.
Thank you.
Okay, so hopefully that was usual. I will put this into a video and put it on your Facebook pages, and we'll do another Zoom meeting tomorrow at 10 o'clock. All right, guys?
All right, fantastic. Well done, guys. Thanks for all coming along. Keep revising, and we'll send you your exam dates and times. Okay, see you later.
See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Catch you on the rebound.